from a service of CAN TV. I'm Juan Carlos Hernandez. Our guests today are from 826 Chicago, a nonprofit writing and tutoring center on the city's north side. But I get the impression that they do much more than that. Our guests are here to tell us about their inspiring work. Welcome.
Hi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to start off by talking to each of you individually and what you do for 826 Chicago or how you're connected to the organization. Let's start with you, Jessica.
Yep.
Welcome.
Thank you. Jessica Statz. I don't work for 826 Chicago. I work for Gensler. We are a global architecture and design firm, and we helped with the design of the new 826 Chicago space.
Awesome. Awesome. And we're definitely going to talk about that during the show. Our next guest, Tyler.
Hi, I'm
Welcome.
Tyler. Thank you. I'm the creative and retail manager at 826 Chicago. I manage our retail store, which is called the Wicker Park Secret Agent Supply Company.
That's very cool. I was researching. I'm like, this is like a kids or adults dream, come true.
Yeah, it's it's really fun. It's the retail space when you first walk into our space is a retail store, and all the proceeds from the store go back to support 826 Chicago programming, and we have a lot of fun stuff in there.
Great. And our final guest today, Abby Humber.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi. My name's Abby Humber. I'm the communications and program manager at 826. So I run our field trips program and do our communications and marketing stuff.
Okay. Well, again, welcome and thanks for coming. Writing and reading are two of my passions, so I was very excited to find you and bring you in to talk about that. Let's talk about the name first. 826, and why 826, why 826 Chicago? I know you have, centers across the country, but tell us about the name.
So we are a national, or 826 is a national organization. We have writing centers in 6 other cities across the country, each with a different themed retail space. The name 826 comes from the street address of the first center, which is in San Francisco. So now all of the centers across the country have that number associated with them.
So there's no code in there like 826 standing for something?
No, not really.
Okay.
It's a nice number though.
Yeah,
we like it.
It is.
Even number.
Yeah, definitely. So tell me about 826 Chicago. And what you guys do, because as I said in the open, writing and tutoring center, but as I was researching you and reading about you, I'm like, this is more than just writing and tutoring. It's a whole lot more, and it's actually sounds pretty exciting. It sounds very fun. I was looking at some of your pictures, which we'll get a chance to look at, and it's just like, wow, I should be doing something with them.
You should. First of all, you should definitely volunteer. So we're a writing and tutoring center. We have 5 main areas of programming.
Okay.
Some of them bring students into our writing center, like for after-school tutoring, or we're a field trip location for Chicago public school classes. Regularly throughout the week, we go into Chicago public school classrooms and do like class-long partnerships with a specific class and a teacher that last all year. And then we do publishing and weekend workshops in our space also. And I think what makes 826 really different from any other tutoring program in the city, there are so many. All of our programming is totally free. We do give priority enrollment to English language learners and students from low-income families, trying to give them a place to access these resources where they don't have to pay, which are things that access they don't normally have. And I think what makes our programs really special is that we're only a staff of 9, and all of the 3,500 students we're able to serve every year are because of our volunteers.
Wow, a staff of 9. Well, how many volunteers do you have then?
We've trained more than 4,000 since we opened our doors in 2005, and regularly active on a yearly basis, we have at least 400.
400.
These people just giving their time, and I think it contributes to this really vibrant community that's very joyful, really focused on giving the students a place to express themselves and to be silly and goofy and write about soccer or football or wrestling or Justin Bieber or whatever they want. And it's a place where students' voices are affirmed and they get to interact with adults in a way that they don't at school or at home.
You know what, you brought up a really great word that I don't think we use a whole lot or talk about a lot. You said joy, and it's a joyful space, like you said. and these volunteers giving their time. How do you bring in volunteers, and how do you train them? How do you reach out? Can anybody volunteer?
Yeah, anybody can volunteer.
Yeah, anyone can volunteer, and we recruit volunteers a variety of ways. Word of mouth, like Abby was saying.
That's the best advertising.
Yeah, I think our volunteers who come and volunteer do have a great time, and so they tell their friends, and we get more volunteers that way. Another way we recruit volunteers is through the store, actually.
Really?
So the store front serves a few purposes. As I mentioned, the proceeds go back to 826 Chicago, but also it's like I said, it's the secret agent supply company. It's kind of a weird space. We get people who come in kind of not sure what's going on, and then we're able to explain what we do, what our mission is, and get people excited, and then they come back as a volunteer just by they kind of walked in this weird shop.
Okay, so let's say I walk into this weird shop. What's for sale in the shop?
Yeah, so we don't have like actual secret agent gear since we are like a children's organization. We focus more on writing organization. We have a lot of notebooks, spy pens, spy glasses that are more geared towards children. We have a lot of games. We do
Nothing
have some
connected to the NSA?
No. We do have like kind of some like little gadgets. We do sell a grappling hook, which is one of our odder items.
Grappling hook.
And little safes. And
little safes that look like a soda can. That's actually a safe that you can unscrew the top and hide things in.
That's interesting.
Yeah, a lot of books. So yeah, it's a wide variety of items. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. So I walk in, let's say I buy a safe, I want to stash some money or something, and I get curious about other things. Now, you said you train tutors, okay? So what happens? Okay, I want a tutor. What happens then?
So you would sign up on our website.
So I can't sign up at your store?
You could sign up, and basically we get an email then about kind of the next steps and come in for an orientation. And then if you were, for example, wanting to tutor, you would come in and shadow some of our current tutors a few times.
How long does the training usually take?
I think the new volunteer orientation is like an hour and a half where we go over all of our programming and more in depth. And then you would come in and actually be there with our current tutors.
And at the volunteer orientation, we do the overview of our program, so you can see like where the things that you're most interested in, kind of how they happen and what your like schedule availability is. But we also talk about all the different aspects of our organization. Like we need volunteers for everything. Like if you're an IT genius, if you're a web design like magician, if you do like architecture and design work, if you're a marketing professional, if you are an illustrator, like there are so many everyday things that we need support with. And so a big part of our volunteer program is finding where volunteers' passions and strengths intersect with what our organization needs. It often is directly working with our students, but there's all sorts of stuff that we need help with, and there are so many really capable people in the city.
Tyler, did you want to add something to that?
No, I think we covered that. It's there are so many opportunities. So we're really really always looking for new volunteers and really like grateful for all the support they give us.
And so, and also, if I wanted to maybe volunteer in the retail store.
Yeah, we have volunteers to help out in the store also. And that's really fun because I view that as really the volunteers who are helping out in the store are ambassadors for the organization, because one of my goals as manager of the store is everyone who walks in needs to know about the work that we do. So I do really love it when there are volunteers helping out in there, because they can share their story about how they got involved and really connect with customers who might become volunteers.
Okay, and I do want to talk about the programs, but we could talk about some of them while we look at some of the pictures you brought in.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll be taking a look at those on the screen here in just a moment. So tell us about this, please. This is a reading from, I guess, one of the students.
Yeah, this is what a chapbook release party looks like. Twice a year, we have these big community celebrations. The students who read at these are after-school tutoring and writing students. They come to us 4 days a week. work on their homework with tutors, and they do writing every single day in accordance with different prompts. So this is the chapbook we released last semester. It's called The Land of Amazing Things. The titles of all of our books are chosen from an excerpt of writing that appears in the book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so this was our first reading in the new space. There are even some new fixtures in here since this photo was taken, but what you can't see is like the other half of this photo was also packed with like parents and tutors and volunteers and supporters of our students in the organization. Students get to read their pieces into a microphone at this podium.
Okay, and that's you right there.
That is me, wearing the same blazer. This is my power blazer, you guys. This is after a field trip. 3 mornings a week, students come into us for a morning of creative writing and publishing. This was a storytelling and bookmaking field trip. Students worked together to write like a completely zany story, and at the very end, they each got to write their own individual endings. And then they get to take home this published book, and as you can see, they're very excited.
Definitely, and that's, I guess, part of the excitement of seeing that your writing can actually become a piece of something you can take with you and share.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. This is from another field trip. It's called Images and Imagination. We have students make collages of photos from National Geographic magazines and then write stories inspired by what they see in the photos or by what they don't see. We do a lot of like, okay, you picked a photo of a car, like who's inside that car, where are they going, like what's just beyond that car, whatever.
This is a family, correct?
Yeah, this is the Rivera family. They are 3 siblings and 2 cousins, and that's their mother with them, proudly holding, they all appear in the Land of Amazing Things chapbook. They're so proud of themselves for reading their published work to a packed room.
Who wrote the book?
All the after-school tutoring students are published in the book.
Oh, they're all published
Yeah.
in there. Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, this is a pretty typical scene from after-school tutoring and writing. We have 2 tutors, 2 students reading, working on homework, kind of whatever they
I like
have
the
going
little
on.
boy with the glasses just sneaking into the picture there.
It's Dexter. He's always photobombing. Always.
That's awesome. So part of the tutoring also includes, like, well, as it says, the reading, which is so important to the development, right? And this is a reading by Eggers, right?
Yeah, this is actually at our open house in mid-January when we opened up the space to everyone who had contributed to the project and who hadn't seen it yet. And our co-founder of 826, Dave Eggers, and a like really wonderful author came to support us and say a few words. It was really an awesome evening.
Okay, great. And we'll certainly take a look at pictures of your new space in just a few minutes, but I wanted to talk about how you get teachers involved, how you become part of classrooms, but also how the after-school tutoring looks. Tell me about that.
Sure. So we are starting to be more strategic about the way we choose to work with teachers in schools. I think in the past, we've just had relationships with schools for a long time, and we say like, yeah, we want to do this project with you. And we're really, especially this year and moving forward, trying to choose to work with schools and classes who would benefit the most from our support. So right now we're working, each year we do a young authors book project where we work with one class for an entire school year on like an extended essay and publishing project. This year we're working with 10th graders at Curie Metropolitan High School in Archer Heights. So we've been meeting with these students since August to put together these personal narratives about power and place. And at the end of the project, we're going to have this huge book release at Printers Row Lit Fest in June. Instead of a chapbook, it's like a really professionally designed and bound book that these students get to keep forever. And so
that is amazing.
Yeah, so we do different projects with different schools just depending on schools' need and like what our volunteer capacity is. But we always are kind of like especially looking for one school to do this young authors book project with every year.
Right, and the design and the editing is also volunteer, or they do that
Yeah,
themselves?
totally volunteer done. Volunteers work. They do like virtual editing of the students' pieces after we go into the class and meet with them, and then we have a team of copy editors who like through Google Docs will highlight a sentence and be like, I like where this is going, but I have these 3 questions, and it's kind of this dialogue, this back and forth with the students, and then a volunteer designer makes the book cover, volunteer copy editors make sure it's perfect, lay it out in design. All of it is like completely volunteer driven.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, I mean, it's a testament to your good work too. So, and final question before we move on to talking about the new space. Tell me about after school tutoring, students come in, they're sent by their school, they're sent by their parents, they just drop in?
It's not drop-in. We do have students sign up to come in 2 days a week, either Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday. And that's because this program is in really high demand, and so we want to make sure that the students who are coming are really getting like the attention that they deserve. So we have a certain number of students, about 25 that come each day. We try to pair them one-on-one with a tutor, or at least in very small groups. They're sent, again, they really hear about this by word of mouth. And we have a parent orientation. The parent community is very important to that program because we see the same students every single day for a whole year. And sometimes even longer. We have families who have been coming to us since we opened our doors in 2005, which is amazing to watch these students age through the programs. Like they come in 2nd grade and now they're in high school, and like they're very tall. It's very weird. Yeah, and so these students are from the more immediate Wicker Park, West Town community. A lot of them walk from nearby schools like LaSalle 2, Burr or Rowe. I get them confused, whichever one is on Ashland. But yeah, they usually walk in after school, get started with the tutor, work on their homework. And then when we have these chapbook releases, like all their parents, all their siblings, all their friends come. Everyone brings food. It's a feast, and it's like this huge celebration of their work.
I imagine it's a great way to put on some weight as well.
It is, yeah. There's so many flautas at these chapbook releases.
So you've been around since here in Chicago, at least since 2005, correct? And you have a new space. Jessica, I'll let you tell me about that new space, what it means, the design. Well, you take me through it.
Okay.
And then we'll get into some pictures.
Yeah, I have been involved with 826 for a few years. I've known about the organization. I became friends with Kendra, who is the executive director, and when they were going to move into their new space, she came to me and asked if I wanted to help them design, a room part of the space that they were going into, and I said, no, we'll just do the whole thing, to make sure that the story of the space was a cohesive story, that it would support all of their programs, from the retail space to having a separate, area for volunteer and student check-in, having a great space for the staff that was separate, and then having this incredible, learning lab there. So a team of coworkers and I went through it. There was, architects, graphic designers on our team, myself and some interior designers working through this. So the process that we took with 826 was very similar to the process that we take with all of our clients, which is really like user specific, wanting to know about the organization that we're designing for and what they need, and to really design a space to support what they need.
It wasn't like, well, we're volunteering our time, we're just going to give them whatever we can.
Yeah, no, we wanted to make sure, we are a global architecture firm, but one thing that we really do is empower our employees to be involved in the community and give back in a really rich way. So this 826 project was very aligned with, we've been doing a lot of community outreach specifically around education in Chicago for City Year, for Marwin, for Shy Arts. So, we really want to try and give back to the community in a really meaningful way. And, we think that design is a great way to do that.
So take me through the steps of that. How does that happen?
So we, the first thing that we did was we did a visioning session with the students. So really talking about what they kind of wanted in the space. So
It sounds like this, like meditative.
Yeah,
type
it was,
of practice. Like they're sitting.
Yeah. No, not kind of. Very similar to what they had done with kind of the cutting of pictures out of magazines.
Okay.
So we, walk them through this process where we talk about, what they get out of the program, what they want to see when they get there, how they envision the space to be. And we had them pull pictures, and a lot of them had to do with, places for books, comfortable places to sit, a cool desk for Sarah, who is the welcome person for them. And they also wanted they wanted some outrageous things too. They wanted, a pool. And, obviously we couldn't give them all that they wanted, but we really design the space to support their current programs, but also to help them grow their programs. So making sure that there was, the learning lab, but then also having the flexible classroom that's adjacent to that could then they can do more separate tutoring things for different groups.
Okay, so well, let's take a look at some of the pictures of the space now, and you could guide us through it.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the what you'll see from on Milwaukee Avenue in Wicker Park. So as you can see, the new signage, which they had a graphic design. I think.
Yeah, it was designed by Tommy Quinn of Blank is the New Black. He's been volunteering his time, also doing a lot of design.
It looks kind of like a throwback design.
Yeah.
So that's the retail front of the store. We are still, since the project is all based on their kind of capital fund, it was done in stages. So, when they first moved into the space, it was very much kind of more of a white box, waiting to get things done. This is during a construction site tour. Their new landlord, Lee Stansberry, was fantastic and actually built out all of the kind of raw interior space for them.
Oh, wow.
And then through our connections and network in the industry, we were able to help and partner with manufacturers to do in-kind donations. Then we also volunteered our own time to paint some murals on the walls there.
So those are painted?
Yeah, those are painted.
It's not vinyl decals?
Nope, it's all, we
Wow.
projected the images onto the wall. A great graphic designer, illustrator in our office, Chad Finken, hand drew everything, and then we projected his original work onto the walls, and then we had a team of volunteers to do that. You can see then that's the mural in the background.
Yeah, that's the Eiffel Tower and Sacre Coeur and
yeah, so
Paris.
the space, we really wanted to bring that kind of essence of the secret agent supply company into the rest of the space. Really wanted to bring that spark curiosity within the students who are using that space. So there's touches. That bookshelf is in Morse code, and
That's
there's
interesting.
there's a coded message that the kids can decode. So this is the learning lab, and then there was also a donation of marker board paint. So all that green there is marker board paint.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Then it allows for creativity.
Yeah. And we were able also through an industry partner with KSA Lighting to get all of the lights donated in the space.
Wow.
So it was such a huge effort. And there we are as the team after painting the mural in our nice red jumpsuits.
How long did that mural take to paint?
It took one whole weekend to do the main mural, and then we did another mural, and then we still have part 3 coming, which is Tokyo. That's coming.
Okay, this is the parent hub.
Yeah, so this is kind of the parent hub. So this is they really wanted a separate space in the space for parents to be able to wait and also see the publication, see what's happening, know about upcoming events. So this is kind of that parent hub. So where people, it's right behind the retail store, where they can come in and read the chapbooks, read other publications.
Well, I guess I can ask now, do parents do any writing? Do they get involved in the process at some point? So is there a hope for that? I know it's 6 to 18.
Yeah, we don't right now have parents doing any writing, but they are like the biggest supporters of their students at these chapbook releases. Like they all have like their cameras and they're right up there like ready to see their students reading their work for the first time.
Wow, that's awesome. We're getting close to the end of our time. Just want to ask you about, you don't have to name them, but you can if you want. I mean, give me just a story of somebody who you just saw grow. I'm sure there are many, growing the organization and through the tutoring and the relationships he or she built and what that's meant to you and to them.
There's this family, they're called the Galvan Family. They have been coming to us. They're this family when I referenced how cool it is to see a student age through the programs. They're another family of like 4 siblings and then a couple cousins who come to. And when they started coming, Marvin, the oldest one, was only in 2nd grade, and now he doesn't actually come to tutoring anymore because he's in 9th grade. Like our after-school tutoring is just through 8th grade right now.
Okay.
But all of his younger siblings and cousins are still coming, and Kendra, our executive director, actually helped teach English to Karen, his youngest sister. When she first came, they had just moved from Mexico. And she was really when you're in 2nd grade, you're learning to read and write anyway,
Right.
even in your native language. And so Kendra got to be like a buddy tutor with Karen, working with her every single day. And now Karen is like one of the most like vibrant and energetic students. She's published probably in like dozens of chapbooks. All of her cousins and siblings are too. And it's just like they come in like all together, like the Galvan clan is here. And it's just really cool to like, you can read Marvin's writing from 2nd grade where he's just getting the hang of like what it's like to write about whatever you want, up through some of his pieces that have been read like nationally to people from other chapters, like shared widely in the network.
That's awesome.
It's just really cool to watch the impact that our programs have had on their academic development, but also their confidence as writers and just as young people.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
a great story. And let's hope that you keep doing this work. And thank you for coming out today and sharing some of these stories of the stories of the new space. And well, good luck with everything.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And to you, our audience, thank you for joining us. Community Forum is a community service of CAN TV. If your nonprofit organization would like to work with CAN TV, call 312-738-1400 and ask for nonprofit services. Tune into Community Forum for local issues and concerns every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. on CAN TV 21. I'm Juan Carlos Hernandez. Thank you for joining us.